Thank you, Presiding Officer. The Standing Order rule changes proposed today come from 3 separate reports by the Standards, Procedures and Public Appointments Committee. I shall deal with each in turn. The first set of proposals for change arises from a request from the Finance Committee for the SPPA Committee to consider how the provisions in the Scotland Act 2012 on the Scottish rate of income tax should be translated into standing orders. We are now proposing some changes to standing orders to update the remit of the Finance Committee, to delete the reference to consideration of tax-varying resolutions and insert a new reference to the Scottish rate of income tax. We also delete references to motions for tax-varying resolutions in standing orders and insert new references to Scottish rate resolutions. And we are proposing a revision to Rule 9.16.7 that currently states that if a budget bill is dependent on a tax-varying resolution and the Parliament rejects the motion for the resolution, the bill fails. The new Rule 9.16.7 provides that Stage 3 of a budget bill may not start until any associated Scottish rate resolution has been made by the Parliament. We've taken this approach because there is a considerable interdependence between the Scottish rate resolution and the budget bill. If the Parliament rejected the motion for a rate resolution, there would be a chance for the Government to propose a fresh motion and amend the budget bill accordingly. Finally, under this heading, we are proposing a procedure for the cancellation of a Scottish rate resolution, should that ever be required. Accordingly, I move motion S4M 14554. The second set of changes relates to how we handle consolidation bills. These bills exist to take existing pieces of legislation and consolidate them into a single bill which does not change the substance of the law. The Minister for Parliamentary Business asked the SPPA Committee to look at changing the rules so the Delegated Powers and Law Reform Committee could consider consolidation bills, instead of a specifically established consolidation committee. We've considered whether to recommend this change. One advantage is that considering consolidation bills would link to the law reform element of the DPLR Committee's work. The DPLR Committee is used to considering legislation purely from a technical perspective rather than considering the policy behind the law. Another potential advantage is that a separate committee would no longer need to be established. We've therefore concluded that there should be a new option to refer a consolidation bill to the DPLR Committee, but that the option of referral to a consolidation committee should also be retained. The proposed standing orders allow the Bureau to decide which option for referral would be most appropriate on a case-by-case basis. For example, if the Bureau decided that a consolidation bill should be scrutinised by a committee which shares a member with the relevant subject committee, it might be appropriate to refer the bill to a consolidation committee rather than the DPLR committee. Accordingly, I move motion S4M 14555. Finally, we looked at the current requirements within standing orders to print, publish or print and publish various parliamentary documents. Some of these are used inconsistently. For example, there are requirements to print motions in the Business Bulletin, but only a requirement to publish the Business Bulletin itself.
One moment, Mr Stevenson. There is far too much noise from people who are coming into chamber. Please do Mr Stevenson the courtesy of listening to him for 1 minute 45 seconds.
The important point about these references, Presiding Officer, is that publish could be by electronic means, but printed requires the production of a hard copy. In the course of addressing these inconsistencies, the committee also became aware of a number of instances where there is no requirement to publish marshalled lists and groupings at all, while presiding officer determinations in most cases only require to be notified to the committee. So the committee decided to take the opportunity to address these anomalies too. As an additional tidying up exercise, we propose that the multiple references to notified in Chapter 9A, which refers to private bill procedures, are replaced with a single duty to notify and publish all the determinations under that chapter. I should make it clear that these rule changes are designed purely to bring consistency and clarity to the rules, and do not dictate or encourage any changes to the current practice of publishing a range of documents in hard copy, since the term publish applies to either format. I move motion S4M 14556.